What's up, guys? It's your boy, the New York Hobbyist, back at again with another build overview, and this time it's after my crash. So this, obviously, if you guys know the title, this Sonicmodell Mini Air Wing running a ZOHD KoPilot. As you guys saw from the first video I've made of the Sonicmodell Mini Air Wing, didn't go out so well, and I was waiting for parts. Now, before I go on, I want a disclaimer. If I made the video before or after it's coming out, I made it. I don't know if I've dropped it by now or by the time I'm making this video, but I made a, 2020 update video, and I said I wasn't going to post until 2021, but the problem was I totally forgot that I ordered the parts for this like 2 weeks ago, and I had to wait for Bango to pick it up or get it to me. So now that I got it, I decided, all right, this will be the last video of 2020, and in 2021, I will come back brand new, whole bunch of Christmas parts. Obviously not right away because Bango takes forever sometimes, but most of the Christmas parts. But now that I have this, I can make the build overview and finally have a second try at the maiden. And I am experiencing a couple of things, and that main one is, as you guys can see, my FPV monitor, FPV noise, and I don't know why I have it so bad, but I do. But for now, we're just gonna focus on a build overview. I think it's because I have so many electronics near the, electrical electronics near the FPV transmitter that it's just too much for it. But I'm hoping that will go away at some point. I'm hoping to get a nice strong signal. But yeah, now on to the build overview, which you can hear by the very annoying beeping of it trying to get satellites and the beeping of my flash guy because I haven't touched it for 2 seconds. All right, on to that. All right, now on to the actual build overview. So here, while it's freaking beeping, looking for satellites in my house, which, will never happen, we have the Mini Air Wing. So right away, I'm going to go from the front to the back. Right now, I'm using a very, very cheap $8, run cam style FPV camera. It was super cheap. I wanted to keep this build nice and cheap, and that's probably why the quality is so crap. But, for the price, you're still getting an FPV camera. So I have no problem with it. Then we're going to the back. I like this little sticker right here, protection for the leading edge, because it really is, honestly. We have this 1500 ZOHD 40C LiPo. Now, it is crazy that I fit a 1500 into this battery, into this plane. Usually, the manufacturer, ZOHD, it's actually Sonicmodell, but they also make ZOHD. They recommend no more than a 1300 battery. Luckily for me, ZOHD always makes super small LiPos. Like, I just ordered a 800 milliamp battery for this Dragonfly, and it's super small. That's one thing I like about ZOHD a lot. They're very versatile in sizes. You can have a 1500 milliamp battery that I can put in my Skylark, my E-Sky, or you can have a 1500 milliamp battery that fits in your 600 millimeter wing. Now, with that said, I have extra flight times, and 1500 40C, I get pretty good amps. So that battery is working great. Only problem is this thing is pretty much lodged to the brim. All the electronics, everything, this canopy, everything in there is used. Every little piece, even a little area in the back where the ESC, not the ESC sits, but the wires, is used. So, with that said, I barely got the wires to go in here, and it was 100% a struggle. Now that we went from the battery, let's go on to the FPV system. Right here, I have a eSheen. It was like you know what? I forgot. I'm not prepared for this video. I never am. But it was an eSheen 200 milliwatt mini FPV transmitter that I wanted because it was going to save me the most space. Now, since it's 200 milliwatts, it does get a little hot if you leave it for a long time. Right now, it's pretty toasty. So after this video, I will be shutting this all off before it melts itself. On top, I made a little indent because I'm using a 90-degree SMA connector, which I have right in here. Those 90-degree SMA connectors. I am running a right-hand polarized shorty pagoda antenna. Now, this is great. So far, I'm getting a lot of FPV noise. I am not sure if the antenna is now working great. I'm not sure if my FPV monitor is not working great, or it's just too much FPV noise from the battery wires being there and everything else being there. Thus, some channels I do have good signal, but they kind of go away after a while. But I have noticed that if I use my very old Eachine VR007 Pros, that the signal stays on. The only problem with the VR007 Pros is that the battery life is absolute crap. But I'm willing to take the chance to fly 2 batteries and then this just dying. Because everything else, my eSky, I will be using my Eachine random numbers FPV monitor using this guy right here, which gives me like crazy long range triple feed patch antenna array. So I don't know if the FPV noise is gonna go away. Maybe it won't, maybe it not. I'm probably just gonna fly with that and with the VR07 Pros, and that's it. So now for what the main thing is, obviously the receiver I'm using, the FlySky FSIA6. It works fine, don't worry about it. You need at least, 5 channels for this plane. So if you're gonna do PWM, you need 5 channels, just letting you know that. Now on to the ZOHD KoPilot. This KoPilot is really good. And if you guys saw my video, you guys saw that the auto takeoff was actually working. Thing is, my gains for my electronics were way too high. Now I have fixed that. I've done the same thing Andrew Newton did with his switches and all that stuff. I followed his on his drift. I just did it for the wing version. And now everything is good. I haven't maiden it yet. I'm hoping to capture that on film again. The re-maiden, I'm hoping this time no crash. I got a brand new prop. I glued everything back in. Everything's good. I don't really break anything else. I glued all the wings back. As you guys see, wingtips got double pinned now on both sides. I actually at some point lowered the throws, but I decided to put them back to stock original and just have a switch where I have full throws for the stabilized mode, and if I go to manual, I have less throws for for that. Like if I hold this is in manual mode, and then that's full, that's shorter. So should be more controllable now. I have the GPS mounted up top with the wires coming through, coming in, and onto the board, or the board GPS plug right there. I have the settings board always connected. You don't have to have the settings board always connected, but it's if you can have it always connected, that's just better, because every time you want to make an adjustment, you have to plug in the settings board, do the little adjustment, and then plug out the settings board. Plug in, plug out, plug in, plug out. Just annoying. So if you have the chance to put in the settings board, I highly recommend that you do. And yeah, so we have servos connected to the board, and then I am not running a UBEC. Pretty much all my planes have UBECs in them. Even the Dragonfly is going to get a UBEC because I ordered a helicopter ESC for it, not a normal ESC, because normal ESCs are too big. This is the only one that's, yes, there is a UBEC. Before I say anything, there is a UBEC. That right there is a UBEC in that zip tie. But that is actually for the FPV camera. Now, with that said, the reason why I'm running a UBEC for the FPV camera is because the little JST that comes with the Sonicmodell ESC, the stock one, it has a JST coming out of it. Now, I thought at first that JST was a part of the UBEC already, the inner BEC inside the ESC. No, that is not. So that JST is actually running the same amount of volts that your battery is running. So if you're running a 3S battery, so it's what, 12.6 volts? 12.60 volts. 12.6, same thing. That JST is also running 12.60 volts. So I decided, you know what, just for me not to completely fry my 200 milliwatt FPV transmitter, which is already burning right now, I decided to do the UBEC. So what I did was I took a piece of sheeting from Home Depot, just like aluminum sheeting. I cut a hole into the wall over here. I made like little 2 crannies with like a drill bit. Then I zip tied it on. And now I have that just connected right there on the wall like that. If you guys can see the UBEC right there. It's a pretty weird concept, and it's good because it also holds down my JST plug, which is always in the way. Like I said, this thing is filled to the brim. I have no more space in this thing. Probably the only space I have is like the little bridge in between where the FPV camera sits, and there's like nothing in there. But other than that, I have no space. All the wires are tucked into here in the corners. I got the FPV antennas taped down here because the prop is scary. One thing I want to kind of point out is that when I got this Sonicmodell, I always saw the reviews and I saw that it came with the plastic leading edge. I didn't get a plastic leading edge. So what I did was I kind of just did the tape leading edge like I always have. Like I have the tape leading edge on my eSky. I actually have it on my Fun Cub. I actually have it on my Skylark. And I'm about to do it to my Dragonfly whenever I get the electronics. So I have the tape leading edge. So I did that. It's strong enough. You know, this is EPP black foam. This thing is super duper strong. Not the best with glue, but super duper strong. So, nah. It's a very quick build, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go full detail on the settings I have for it, because once I get this thing dialed, I will share with you the pots that I have inside the settings board, the problems I'm having with FPV, if there's going to be problems on the field. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I'm in the room. Maybe it's because I'm not. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? And yeah. Everything is good in this plane. I'm just hoping that the next maiden I have will be the successful maiden, and I can finally have what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that plane does fly. My Fly Bear does still fly. I just never fly it. I can have all 6 planes working as one. Obviously, I haven't maiden my Dragonfly yet. That will be a new video in the next year. But so far, she's looking good. I glued in the wings today, so she looks good. So yeah, this is my build overview. So now on to the outro. Alright guys, so that was my build overview of my Sonicmodell Mini Air Wing running a ZOHD KoPilot flight controller. A fixed wing only flight controller, just letting you guys know that. I will put links in the description, like I always do for every build overview, if you want to just do the same thing I did. Now, a couple of things I forgot to mention in the actual panning part of the build overview was it runs great with a FlySky. Just have to do a couple reversing and a couple of like sport modes. Like I said, the switch, you got to do that if you want to make sure that you go into manual mode, your plane won't be doing rolls when you give it just a little bit of a correction. So, and also to lower your pots. Now, for the difference between the ZOHD 250G wing and this wing is that this wing is just a little bit more sensitive just compared to the ZOHD 250G wing. I personally don't have a ZOHD 250G wing, but I know by seeing people's videos that the ZOHD 250G is honestly a very, very stable flyer. I mean, it is a swept forward wing, and it is meant for FPV pretty much. So it's not as insanely sensitive when it comes to controls than this thing, which is like a pure on FPV racing wing. It's not a wing that is meant for FPV. It's an FPV, but not like that. It's not meant for flying far GPS. You could, but it's not meant for it. It's meant for racing fast and having fun and doing a whole bunch of crazy fast maneuvers. Now, I like to make a lot of my planes GPS. Obviously, the eSky here, where you can see the tail of it. It's kind of hard aiming with the camera. There we go. You can see the tail of it, and that was a trainer plane, and it had no design for GPS, and I just decided to put GPS into it. I'm that guy. I like putting GPS into everything. I'm like Giz FPV. I'm like Andrew Newton. I'm like Rag the Nuts Off. I'm like just like Painless 360. I like putting GPS in any plane. Thus, though, any plane, some planes just don't have the space to put GPS in it, so I back off sometimes. But so far, the ZOHD 250G works great, and I think it's not beeping anymore. I think I just caught satellites. Only thing that's beeping is my transmitter, because you don't touch it for 2 seconds, it starts doing that. So yeah, everything's great. I hope I can give it that last good maiden, and then I could just keep on flying it for as long as I can. I have to also do the Dragonfly, and I also have to do another upcoming plane that I will be buying on Christmas Day. And I think everything will be good. So, like I said, I will link all the parts in the description that I use. It's a lot of parts, but I'll link them all down. I had to buy a couple brand new stuff. Like I said in the video, I bought a brand new prop, a settings board, and that's all I had to buy to get this thing back up in the air. And the problem is FPV noise. Now, it looks like that it's my antenna that sucks. It looks like that once I put the antenna on, the FPV goes away, because now I have a full-on signal, but I don't have an antenna on the actual plane. That kind of concerns me, because I'm not sure if that's something that I can use while flying. I don't think I can. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I can put in my old right-hand polarized antenna, but that's not pagoda, and I don't know how that's going to go together. It's not going to go together right. It's their pagoda and normal right-hand clover leaf just doesn't go well. So I will see. We're just going to have to throw it up in the air, see how the FPV feed is. What I am going to do is I'm going to go into that FPV transmitter, and I'm going to change the channels around. I think I'm on like channel E, but my video transmitter doesn't, no, sorry, my FPV monitor doesn't have a channel E. It goes up to D, and then it goes straight to race band. So I think that's the problem. I think because I'm not on channel E, because there is no channel E on my video FPV monitor, it sucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there, and we'll see. So if you're watching this before or after my update video, like I said, I won't be posting until 2021. Whenever I get all the parts I order from Banggood, whatever I get, I want to have it ready for 2021. And also the wind is kind of picking up, which me and my friend MD Fishman, we don't fly in wind more than 10 miles an hour because we're flying foamies. So yeah, so this will be my last video of 2020. Have a great 2020. Let's hope we can get past this year without anybody else dying. I really hope. And let's just, pray to God that coronavirus can get the hell up out of here and we can all go outside and fly together again. All right, with that, it's been your boy, the New York Hobbyist. It's been your boy, the New York Hobbyist. Keep driving RC, keep flying RC, and I hope you guys have a great day.